Hello, everything is fine. My name is Ayrton No. I am an environmental engineer and technical director of environmental actions at the Drava Romani Institute and founder of the Environmentalists website. In this video, I'm going to talk a little about environmentalists and the role of these citizens for the environment and society. Firstly, I need to understand a little better what an environmentalist really is, as it is possible to see in some situations such as news, criticism, or public comments that there is often a reference to these people who do not properly characterize their purposes and objectives. Through some means of communication, it is possible to perceive that there is at times a certain generalization of groups or individuals that are mistakenly classified as environmentalists. Environmentalists are people who dedicate themselves and dedicate part of their time and their lives to defend causes, concepts, and objectives in favor of the defense of the environment and of all living beings on this planet. Environmentalists understand and believe that human activities have a direct impact on the environment and strive to reduce their negative impacts. Environmentalists advocate environmental protection through various strategies and procedures. This defense of environmental causes can happen in different ways, such as the dissemination of issues involving environmental education, preservation of fauna and flora species, defense of fragile environments or those targeted for unsustainable exploitation, campaigns to protect certain species, among others. Other similar actions. These environmental causes that are defended can be broad, encompassing an entire global ecological context, or they can be more specific, in more regional or local contexts. Something that can characterize this breadth of actions by environmentalists could be the availability of time invested and the availability of resources that these citizens have to invest in their actions aimed at environmental preservation. As it happens in several professions where we have very dedicated professionals and others not so much, it can also happen in this environment where there are people who are considered environmentalists and others who do not fit completely in this context. To be an environmentalist, it is not necessary to be born knowing everything about how to fight against the destruction of the environment and what are the ways to defend it. But it is necessary to understand what environmental preservation really is and evaluate how it is possible to collaborate and really dedicate yourself to a cause that collaborates in some way with the protection of the planet. The role of these citizens for society and for the environment is very important, considering that they are people who help in the process of complying with various laws and environmental guidelines through notifications to responsible bodies, in public collections, participation in campaigns in defense of the environment, and in the identification of possible environmental programs that may be about to occur or that are already in actions that are happening at the moment. They work to raise public awareness of environmental issues and also demonstrate so that others can take action and identify the causes of environmental accidents. In this way, they commit themselves in some way to ensuring a healthier environment for future generations. They also work with governments, corporations, and other organizations to develop strategies for environmental protection and sustainability. Environmentalists also demonstrate their commitment by participating in activities such as planting trees and cleaning up polluted areas, raising funds for environmental conservation programs, and participating in protests against environmental destruction. Environmentalists are also interested in understanding the causes of accidents that can harm nature or human health. such as oil spills or nuclear disasters or other human activities. They work to prevent these accidents from happening again by advocating for better regulations and safe procedures. In this way, the work of environmentalists also serves to join efforts in favor of the defense of various aspects linked in a larger context and seek to meet a common objective that aims to promote the preservation of life on Earth in the most sustainable conditions possible. For many companies, groups, or enterprises, environmentalists may even represent some discomfort for defending causes that are not always respected by them. But if there was no help from environmentalists, it is possible to imagine that countless attacks on the environment could have occurred or are occurring in several unprotected locations. For people who currently have access to the most diverse types of means of communication that currently exist, they must have already seen some situation of environmental accidents, local or international, that had connections with large companies or corporations. In these cases, these large groups or enterprises are usually the focus of more specific manifestations or demands from environmentalists. This is characterized due to the size of these enterprises and their greater potential for harming the environment. Not detracting from small polluting enterprises that also have a negative potential on the environment, which is relevant and necessary to be avoided. But the main reference is that generally the largest enterprises that are involved in accidental or criminal pollution have a much greater potential, destructive and dangerous for the environment. Among the benefits that the existence of environmentalists provide to the environment for society, we can mention some such as, for example, the collaboration to alert authorities in relation to the risk of contamination or environmental accidents, cooperation with bodies and entities dedicated to the preservation of the environment, direct contribution by alerting communities and citizens to environmental problems, interaction in the direct fight against the pollution of different habitats, creation and development of campaigns in favor of environmental preservation, raising funds aimed at the environmental preservation of the sea, forests, and other ecosystems. Also in helping public bodies helping in charging undertakings or corporations that are potential polluters, pointing out situations of criminal actions against fauna, flora, and the environment in general, and helping to spread environmental education, alerting society in general. Now that you understand a little more about this context, it is also important to note that people who simply complain or criticize environmental damage or protest against development using symbols, language in favor of nature do not fit the context of what it means to be an environmentalist in truth. It may even be a person who likes the environment and has the intention of preserving it, but it takes more than just posting on social networks to propagate something that really generates some results and that reflects on real environmental preservation. This approach on environmentalists has an educational and explanatory character, and the main purpose is to explain in a clearer and more objective way what is the role of these people for society and for the environment, which is simply to fight for sustainability and dedicate themselves in some way to take care of the planet, and demand that other people also collaborate with these objectives. I hope you enjoyed the content, and until next time.
Que tenha gostado do conteúdo e até a próxima.